They found it. Tell me what else you think it is that makes you suspicious that it might be him, then.
Thanks very much, studio. Can we stand by for transmission?
Britain's most important unsolved cases. Now live, you can help solve them.
The homemade bomb that exploded in South London on Saturday seems to have been an act of lunacy. It wasn't the IRA, and though an anonymous phone call claimed it was a tiny fascist group, there was no evidence for that. And in any case, who would want to hurt, young and old, even this baby? Black and white, shoppers and market traders. Anyone, in fact, with the randomness of an exploding bag of nails. But tonight, you can help, and this is how. This is the quantity of nails packed around the explosives. There are between 6 and 10 pounds in weight here, and believe me, that's a fairly hefty bulk of nails. They're all round nails, and they range from this size to this. Now, who bought them? If you work in a hardware merchant's or in a DIY store, think back over the last few weeks. Who bought this lot? Who isn't a regular customer, isn't a regular builder? Who came in for this sort of quantity of nails? Or alternatively, did you sell a bag like this? Now, I know these things are fairly common, but this one is fairly new. And see if you can connect this and selling this to something else that we're about to tell you. Alan Fry is head of the anti-terrorist branch. Alan, a lot of publicity you've had for this already. What more can people do?
Police are anxious to talk to anybody who was in the Brixton Road, by the bus stops, by Electric Avenue, at about 5 o'clock last Saturday. Whether they were just walking past, shopping, standing waiting for a bus, or even on a bus.
That could be thousands of people, literally.
I appreciate that, but any one of them, maybe unwittingly, has the vital key to this investigation.
Even if they don't think they saw anything particularly?
Yes, let us be the decider.
OK, now, if this was a small extremist group, by their nature, these little bands of people tend to have an awful lot of leaks, as it were. An awful lot of people tend to hear what's going on.
Yes, and almost certainly someone's heard them planning, someone's been party to that planning. They may have disagreed with the plan. This may be a renegade. What I would ask is for anyone in that position with any knowledge to talk to us in confidence.
Of course, what seems quite likely in this is it's a loner with a grudge.
Well, it could be a loner, it could be someone, have you seen someone acting suspiciously, out of character? Indeed, do you know of someone who has purchased a large number of nails? They may have been seen with a sports bag, which itself is out of character. More importantly, do you know someone who has literature on the makings of bombs? Have they boasted about making bombs? Do they experiment with explosives?
Do you think whoever did this will have tried to detonate something like it before?
I think that is certain.
OK. Well, if there's any way that you think you can help, please, please do. There's a £10,000 reward. That may go up. Please call us 0500 600 600. That's a free call live here to detectives in the studio. And there's a free phone number 0800 789 321, which goes to the anti-terrorist branch of Scotland Yard. That's on 0800 789 321.
And now to the murder of a tourist. Maria Wodianitzky from Stockholm had been in London for less than 2 hours before she was killed in an arbitrary robbery. This is an appeal to the killer himself, to his friends and relatives, and to a London cabbie who couldn't possibly have realised what his passenger had done.
We will soon be arriving at Paddington Station, which is an excellent gateway to London. We hope you've enjoyed your journey with us on Heathrow Express today. Thank you for travelling with us this afternoon, and we wish you a safe and pleasant onward journey. Welcome to London.
I wish we could take the train straight to the apartment. Hey, Andre.
And then a number 10 to the flat. And according to the guidebooks, we'll be passing the Albert Memorial on the way.
Who's Albert? Someone who never had to shoot travel up the platform.
The family was staying near the Royal Albert Hall, and having taken a bus to Kensington Church Street, they walked into Kensington High Street to catch a number 10 towards Knightsbridge.
When the family got on, they were holding the whole bus up with an enormous amount of luggage. And the bus conductress got very upset.
Fred, I'm going to have to ask you to put those in the luggage rack so you'll cause an obstruction.
Well, we're only going a couple of stops.
Doesn't really matter, I'm afraid.
I knew you bought too many things.
I'm nearly there, don't worry.
Shall I take this?
If you don't mind.
I do distinctly remember seeing him and saying, well, that's an extraordinary handsome chap. He had close-cropped Afro-type hair and a fairly tanned, dark skin. He had this sort of aquiline features. He was just staring straight ahead of himself. He didn't look at anybody in the eyes.
Andre, look! Over there, see? The memorial, that's Albert's.
Just after the Albert Memorial, at the junction with Exhibition Road, with the conductor upstairs, an attempted handbag snatch.
Her head went the most awful crack on the road.
Did you see what that man just did?
I jumped off. A van came along. I thought, my God, he's going to hit her. I could see him running across the road. And I thought, well, if I can get round the corner, he can't go running at that speed indefinitely, and maybe I can keep this up for a bit longer. There were two people there standing on the corner, and they said, are you chasing somebody? I said, yes. Where is he? Oh, he's getting into that taxi.
5:25, Saturday the 27th of March. Who picked up this fare, now heading south down Exhibition Road?
He was tall. I should think he was over 6 feet. He was slender. He had a sort of broad forehead, fairly high cheekbones, and an aquiline nose.
Well, David Shipley, a tragic situation. Now, this was a busy Saturday afternoon in central London, lots of shoppers and tourists obviously around. Do you believe that all the witnesses you need have come forward? You probably don't.
No, I don't, actually. I do know that the number 10 bus that afternoon was extremely busy, very full of people, and only a few people have come forward so far. I would like to take this opportunity to appeal to passengers on the bus that day to either contact the studio here this evening or the incident room at Paddington Green Police Station.
Right, now, what would people have noticed about this man who committed this awful attack?
Well, we're not entirely sure where he actually got onto the bus, but we think it may have been outside the Royal Garden Hotel in Kensington Road. What we do know is that he travelled standing or sitting next to the victim on the lower deck of the bus when it travelled east along Kensington Road. He's a light-skinned black man, possibly of mixed race, maybe North African extraction. He's about 6 foot in height and slim build, aged about 30 perhaps to 35 years of age. He had very close cropped black hair. He was smartly dressed according to witnesses, possibly in brown clothing, maybe even a suit. And what may be significant is that on the right side of his face there may be a mole or a skin growth to the right of his right eye.
That's a very distinctive description, and as we heard from one witness, he was a good-looking man.
Apparently he was.
Now, when he ran away from the incident, remind us of the route that he took.
Yes, he jumped off the bus and ran back along Kensington Road. He was chased by a passenger from the bus. He was seen to turn left into Exhibition Road. He passed 2 members of the public on the pavement, 2 men in their 40s, Mediterranean appearance, who saw him apparently get into a black taxi cab in Exhibition Road, which then drove south towards Cromwell Road.
So crucially, those those three witnesses are very essential to trace, aren't they? Those two men that were standing on the corner of the road.
Yes.
You haven't managed to track them down yet. And essentially the black cabbie, because he would know where he'd taken the chap.
He would. The black cabbie is of vital importance to us. I'm positive he can further our investigation.
So, bearing in mind, maybe a memory jogger, England were playing Poland at Wembley, I think, that day, weren't they?
Yes.
You might have been listening to it on the radio.
Yes, possibly.
And a man got in very flustered, presumably.
Very flustered. He'd run some distance and very fast, so he would have drawn attention to himself.
About 5:20 to 5:30 on Saturday, March the 27th. Thank you. 0500 600 600. That's live to detectives here in the studio, and it's a free call. And there are more detectives waiting on 0171 321 9640. That's 0171 321 9640.
One of the most disturbing series of rapes we've ever shown resulted in the conviction last week of Keith Anthony Samuels. He'd attacked 7 women in Northampton, Milton Keynes, Leamington Spa and Reading between 1984 and 1990.
Some of the time I was wondering if he'd killed my son. I thought he was going to kill me. Part of the way through, hoped that he would. I was angry with myself because I couldn't move, couldn't defend myself.
Detective Superintendent Chris Cross said Crimewatch played a part in prioritising Keith Samuels for police attention, and he offers many, many thanks to all those who called in. And another serial rape case is coming to trial, this time on the south coast.
Can I go now?
We showed how a decade ago girls and women had been attacked in Hampshire. Stuart Morrison has been charged with 7 offences. That arrest was not in connection with Crimewatch.
Now a subject we don't cover very often, football hooliganism. Over the years, England's reputation has been dragged through the mud, and there are still ugly scenes of assault at domestic matches, some quite dangerous. Take a look at these images from the game between Manchester City and Millwall in early February. We want to identify 7 faces in particular. Generally, matches are widely covered by broadcasters and monitored by security cameras. But on this occasion, as luck would have it, there was also a police video training team in the ground. Please call if you recognise any of these men, 0500 600 600, or you can call the incident room on 0161 856 4400. That's Manchester, 856 4400.
There could be £5,000 for you if you can name this man. He's medium height, slim, with short dark brown hair and sunken eyes. He has a raised bump on the bridge of his nose and 2 months ago had a goatee beard. Here he is entering a B&Q near Wisbeach in Cambridgeshire. He pulled out a knife and threatened staff into handing over money. He may have got rid of that jacket. In fact, this could be it. It was found dumped not far away. If you think you recognise him, 0500 600 600 or 01603 768 769. That's Norwich, 768 769.
We've had an astonishing response on the Brixton nail bomb attack. We've learned that great samples of nails and sometimes great boxes are available at several stores, some of which have CCTV cameras in them. We've learned that in building sites often all the nails are kept together, so maybe somebody who did this is involved with a building site. And there's an extraordinary call here, someone saying that they saw people acting very suspiciously indeed, and we'll tell you a little more about that once we've cleared that later on. We told you a short while ago how a man has been charged with a series of rapes in the south of England 10 years ago. Well, now we move along the Hampshire coast to the city of Southampton. Last month, a woman was beaten unconscious by a rapist, a young man who seems to be not only violent, but experienced at these things. In fact, he's now been linked to 2 other rapes, the first of which occurred 2 years ago. So our reconstruction starts in February 1997.
You lost her?
Yeah, I'm trying to get to Swaveland.
I know a shortcut through the woods. I'll take you there if you like.
Early 20s, over 6 foot tall and with a local Hampshire accent. He chatted with her and smoked a cigarette as they walked further into the common. Then he turned on her and raped her. That was 2 years back in the north of Southampton. Then 4 months ago, in the south.
OK, and can we have our second mystery guest, please?
Mark! Mark!
Okay, gentlemen, your 90 seconds
Mum, what are you doing home? Where are you keep? What's happened? I've been attacked.
About an hour earlier in the Woolston Social Club.
Come sit down with me now.
Come on, Pauline, it's New Year's
I
Eve.
don't care whether it's New Year's Eve. Can you sit down? I'm bored.
Gary's at the bar and I'm just going to go and talk to him, right?
No, Derek, sit down.
Pauline, I'm not having any more of this. I'm going to the bar and I'll be there for 5 minutes, okay?
No, Derek!
I had a couple of words with my husband, nothing special, but I was in a bit of a mood anyway, and decided to walk home.
Right, we have 2 hours to the countdown. If you've got any requests or dedications, bring them on in.
I found I was walking quite quickly because obviously, although it's never ever scared me to walk up anywhere, I just thought the sooner I got home, the sooner I could be indoors with the children.
Excuse me, love. Excuse me. Got a bit of trouble with my car. Is there a garage near here?
Yes, lovely. If you go down Archery Road and you do a left onto Western Lane, go up to the top there and do a right on Portsmouth Road. You should find one along there. Right.
Cheers, love.
It was a white car. Maybe it was his.
What? I'm bored. I said I'm bored. Bloody PlayStation. Can't we watch some telly?
Oh. You're so annoying.
I was walking over to Vinny.
You won't recognise me, will you?
No, I said, of course I won't, because I wear glasses, but I only wear reading glasses.
You won't, will you?
With that, he was quite happy. He sounded a local lad. He was a young lad, actually. And the awful part of it, even now, he's young enough to be my son.
Who went out on his own in a red check shirt around 10 p.m. on New Year's Eve in Southampton? He had high cheekbones and short mousy brown hair. He was aged about 24 and around 6'2". 3 months later, a bus to Ocean Village.
Come on, run!
I don't normally go out clubbing and things like that. I've done all that. So they used to ask me all the time for what to go out and I used to be like, no, I've got a baby to think about now and I can't go out every weekend spending money on drinking or whatever. But I just fancied going out, fancied going out having a dance. I just thought, it's not me. I'm past it. But no, it's not my scene. I don't want to be here. I want to go home. They have a good bunch of girls. They wouldn't let anyone go off on their own, or they would have made me stay. And I thought, well, that's it. I'm going home now. And just left.
When you come in,
I was wondering whether to go over and phone a taxi or walk around the corner and just flag one down.
Taxi! Are you a taxi?
Yeah, love, jump in.
To Western, please.
I always sit in the front seat. If I could see anything going wrong, I can quickly get out or stop the car or do anything.
Where
Where are you going? You've gone the wrong way. I said you've gone the wrong way. It's over the bridge.
All I remember was my head just throbbing. And then I just went mad. Screaming and lashing out. I remember thinking about my little boy. That he ain't gonna beat me, I've got a little boy to think about. And then he must have hit me again because I can't remember nothing.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Stop! Please stop! No, go. Please, no.
Andy Stewart, we know an enormous amount about this guy. I mean, basically, we know how he gets around. We've got a very good description of him. We know what he was doing New Year's Eve. We've got a good idea of what sort of women he goes for. Take mode of transport, first of all.
1997, he had a bike, possibly a red bike. And then in March this year, he definitely had a car. The car was clean and tidy inside, and it had headrests, and it was a manual gearbox. And on New Year's Eve, he may even have had a white car, though he may have been on foot.
Now, this New Year's Eve thing is quite interesting. Most people can remember where they were on New Year's Eve. This guy, between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, would have been missing, out in a red check shirt.
We all remember New Year's Eve, and when you look at it, who was missing from your home on New Year's Eve? You will notice if somebody's not there. A friend, a relative, a cousin. Please tell us.
And somebody looks like this. Now, I mean, you've got a very good description of him now.
We have got a good description of him. He's over 6 foot tall, he's in his mid-20s, he's got short brown mousy hair, he's clean shaven, he's got high cheekbones, and he's very calm and confident when he first meets his victims.
And he goes for small victims. I mean, they're all petite. They're all 5'1", 5'2". I think 5'3" was the tallest, was it? Something like that.
They've all been small victims. This person may be in a relationship. He may have ended a relationship recently. There may be a lot of violence in that relationship, maybe a lot of sexual violence in that relationship. Somebody must know who it is. Somebody else may have been raped by this individual. They may not have wished to tell us. They may know who that is. Please give us a call because we can eliminate that person.
But this guy's getting more and more violent.
Extremely violent. I'm extremely worried that he may kill somebody one day. The level of violence used in that last attack was dreadful.
Well, help solve this, please, if you can. 0500 600 600. Free call here to Andy Stewart, and he has other colleagues waiting in Southampton on 01703 745 390. Southampton 745 390.
Credit card fraud has become a risky business. The card companies have been getting serious about tackling it, and so have the stores. Take a look at this from HMV in Cambridge. This man has good reason to look nervous while his credit card is checked. Who is he? Certainly not the authorised owner of the card. He's in his early 30s or 40s, about 5'6", and this is just one of several stores in which he tries a scam. If you know who he is, and someone must, 0500 600 600 or 01223 358 966. That's Cambridge 358 966.
Just over 6 months ago, there was a terrifying robbery in Waterloo, London. Frightened staff are faced by this robber brandishing a knife. Thankfully, the shop had excellent security. First, there were well-positioned cameras, and this is the result. He's 25 to 30, average height with a London accent. Secondly, the stolen cash bags were packed with red dye, which exploded over the suspect as he left the shop, ruining most of the proceeds as well as his clothes. Obviously not taken with the colour, he abandoned this jumper as he ran off. Who is he? 0500 600 600, or you can ring the local police direct on 0181 247 7932. That's 0181 247 7932.
We need witnesses, and bluntly, we need an informant on our next case. Someone who's prepared to identify a gang who rammed a store full of shoppers and started shooting for no reason. It happened 5 weeks ago in Cheltenham.
BBC Radio Gloucestershire's mid-morning show.
It was a normal Monday morning. We start at 8:30. It's a family business. I worked there for about a year now. We have a good rapport with the customers as well.
Cheers. Thanks very much.
See you soon. I think you're always aware of being robbed when you work around loads of money, but you expect it to come from the front, not from behind you.
Afraid you're going to have to move, sir. It's private parking only here. Did you hear what I said? It's restricted here. You'll be blocking people in.
Hello. I rang earlier. About the car?
No, of course. Mr. D, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
I'll get the keys.
2 days earlier in Cheltenham, a man with an Irish accent had answered an ad in the Gloucestershire Echo.
Check under the bonnet if you like.
Nah, quick spin will be all right.
You sure?
Yeah. $250 you said, right?
Bargain. Believe me. Never given me a minute's trouble.
Cash all right?
Great, yeah. Look, stop back at the house and I'll get you the registration forms.
Less than 2 hours later, and 15 miles away, an older man, this time with a Birmingham accent, bought the other car, the Red Cavalier, which had been advertised in the Citizen newspaper.
Sorry.
The owner was surprised at his bad driving.
Happy?
How much are you asking again?
275. I can't afford to take much less.
Bit steep, that. Have to ring someone.
Well, how much can you offer?
I've got £250 in my pocket.
Oh, go on then. You drive a hard bargain. Thanks.
I thought the building had fallen down. Perhaps it was an explosion or something. We had to sort of think of a way of getting out. Then I heard sort of muffled feet, and I suddenly realised it's a robbery.
Get out!
Why he started shooting, I don't know. We hadn't done anything. I didn't look him in the eye. I wish I could, but I couldn't. I was too busy looking at the gun. So my head was sort of slightly down. So he would have been a bit taller than me, 5'8", 5'10", to be able to... And he just literally reached across and pulled the back of my hair and pulled me over. Yeah. And I could feel the glove on the back of my neck. I can still feel it now. It worries me that they could do it again. I'm sure that wasn't the first one they've ever done. You felt that they knew exactly what they were doing.
The front seat passenger looked tall, with glasses, fair hair and a long face. They drove off down Tennyson Road, right onto Gloucester Road and right again into Ben Hall Gardens. The blue BMW had been stolen in Cardiff nearly 2 months earlier, on the 27th of January. M706YAH. It's now recovered, but where had it been stored?
7 minutes to 10. Just setting our feet up then, and setting Mark next door in the studio up with his programme.
It went left back onto Gloucester Road in the direction of Lansdowne Road. We don't know where the 3 passengers got out, but when it reached the car park of the Fox and Hounds pub on Prestbury Road, there was only one man. He was about 25, 5 feet 11, with light brown collar-length hair.
Somebody must know something. I'm pretty sure somebody around there knows something. And until somebody comes forward and says who they are. Well, everybody's at risk. And I want them caught. I desperately want them caught.
Well, Sally Crook, just to put the date of this robbery into context, it was March the 15th, which is, I think, was the day before the Cheltenham Festival, which suggests that perhaps more people than usual would have been in the area.
That's right. A lot of people come early for the Cheltenham Festival, which starts on the Tuesday, and the area where the robbery took place is on a main route into Cheltenham, so people, in fact, may not know that they saw something that could, in fact, help us.
Well, jog their memories, yes. Now then, what about the cars that we saw? We saw them being bought. Give me a little bit more information about them, the beige one.
That's right. The person who bought the beige car is middle-aged, around 45 perhaps, with an Irish accent and very scruffy in appearance.
And the red Vauxhall?
Also very scruffy, middle-aged if not older, and this person possibly had a Birmingham accent.
Now, bearing in mind these were bought on the Saturday and the robbery occurred on the Monday, also you want to know what happened to those cars in between times?
Very much so. They may well have been parked outside somebody's house, somewhere where these cars aren't normally. And if that's the case, please phone us so we can see if it will provide us some links as to who committed these crimes.
Now, the third car that was used in this wasn't obtained locally, was it?
No, the dark BMW was in fact stolen from the Ely area of Cardiff at the end of January. Now, that car may have been in Cardiff, it may have travelled around, and in fact we don't know where it was from the end of January right through to the middle of March.
Bearing in mind that the number plates you see there are false.
Yes, they are, and the owner of the real BMW bearing that name, that number plate, has been ruled out and lives in the Bath area.
And just another interesting fact is I think that one of the wheel trims was missing from the car, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, and on a smart car that might be quite distinctive to somebody.
Now, what about the men seen in the cars on the day of the robbery? Do you have any more information on them?
Well, we believe there was 4 of them, and we believe they were all white. We do, however, have an e-fit of one of them. This man was the front seat passenger of the Cavaliers that left the scene, and he was tall, with glasses, wearing a light-coloured top and had some form of head covering or a cap.
Now, you found some other clothes that may relate to that incident in particular. What did you find out about those?
Yes, we found various items of clothing. There's a coat with a red collar with, in fact, a tear down the back. And that was found with various other items down the country lane between Boddington and Staverton Village, about 4 miles out of Cheltenham. It's a very quiet lane, and we'd appeal for anybody who saw anybody dumping those clothes to come forward.
Now, these are callous men. I mean, they were shooting quite indiscriminately, not knowing who was going to be in the shop, who they were going to be hurting. There is a reward here, isn't there, an incentive for people to call in?
There is. The Post Office have put up a reward, a substantial reward, leading to the arrest and subsequent conviction of these men. And as you say, they're very callous. They did shoot, and we're hoping to catch them before they actually injure somebody.
Absolutely. Sally Crook, thank you very much indeed. Well, as we said, there is a substantial reward, and you'll do everyone a favour if you can help with this one. 0500 600 600, or the local police on 01242 243 333. That's Cheltenham 243 333.
Please be patient, though. The phones are under siege at the moment. On the Brixton nail bomb, we've really had some fascinating calls. As I said earlier, we've got people who were in the area, a couple of very interesting calls, which I really can't give you anything more about at the moment. We've had about 60 calls so far on the Swedish tourist who was killed. We've had someone who can name 5 people who do this sort of thing regularly, trying to grab handbags from people on London buses. We've had someone with court connections who says she knows exactly this person is a dead ringer, she says. On the Southampton serial rates, 4 names, one intriguing one, a call I took myself a few moments ago from someone outside the area. Jackie, you've been taking calls on the football hooligans, at least people wanted for offences at football ground.
Yeah, we've had about 6 names and addresses suggested so far, at the last count anyway, but it's going up as we speak. In fact, I would really like to appeal to any of the genuine fans who were at that match on that day. Please ring in if you know who any of these men are. We want to make the football safe for all of them.
OK, thanks very much indeed. Now, 3 months ago, a foreign student reported a sexual assault on a tube train in East London. The attacker got on the train at Upminster Bridge near the end of the district line. After the assault, he got off at Hornchurch Station, and this man is one of the few passengers to get off there that Saturday night. He then took the next train. Here he is at East Ham. Who is he? He's mid-20s and about 6 foot with short brown hair. 0500 600 600, please. All British Transport Police direct on 0171 387 0354. That's 0171 387 0354.
5 months ago, a 15-year-old girl was walking from her home in Nelson, Lancashire. She was grabbed in the street and raped. Detectives are keen to find this man, known as Mohammed Shabira. He's from Pakistan and speaks Urdu better than English. In fact, he's only been in the country a short while. He recently applied for political asylum, but then vanished. He's about 30 and reasonably tall and stocky. We need to trace Mohammed Shabira urgently. 0500 600 600 or 01282 472 222. That's Burnley 472 222. Now, if Urdu is your first language, there's an Urdu speaker there waiting for your call.
We're also anxious to trace a man in connection with a series of burglaries across the north of England. He's Gary David Warner, though he uses other surnames, including Parsons and Foreman. He's a man known to change his appearance, but what he can't change is that he's 36, 5'9", and has receding hair. Please do look out for him. 0500 600 600, or you can ring the incident room on 0151 632 8668. That's Liverpool, 632 8668.
Last November, in an emotional reconstruction, we asked for help to catch a man who'd been molesting children on the borders of Essex and East London. We reported on 3 attacks involving 4 children, one of whom was raped.
He was too traumatised to do anything for himself, and I told him that I was going to wash this man out of his body. Then he'd be my little boy again. That evening, he just laid there like a frightened animal, staring at everybody.
Our appeal created huge public interest and we had over 1,000 calls, but despite that, the man is still at large. Now, it was always suspected that there were other attacks, and tonight one more has been linked to the same offender. It happened 5 years ago at Clay Hall in Ilford. An 11-year-old was threatened with a knife and raped very close to where 2 9-year-old girls were attacked last year. The other assaults have all been close by in Woodford and Hornchurch. So how has this man escaped detection for so long? Now, though many of the witnesses are young, everyone describes common features. At the time, he had ginger-coloured hair, but he could have changed it by now. He's medium build, between 5'6" and 5'10", and is aged between 20 and 40, and he's familiar with the area around what used to be Claybury Hospital. Now, it is a broad description, but Michael Allen here and his team have DNA evidence, so it is very easy for them to eliminate people. Now, if you're local, you may be one of 70,000 homes to have received this leaflet through your door. So the police are pulling out all the stops on this one, and please don't hesitate to ring if you have any suspicions at all. 0500 600 600, or the incident room on 0171 275 4377. That's 0171 275 4377.
Now, this is Leighton Station on London Central Line, and there's an argument going on. It ends with a hideous assault and the victim being continually kicked in the head and face. This man was followed by other passengers who tried to restrain him, but he eventually walked off. He's around 30, 6 foot tall and well dressed with short dark hair. After he left the station, he took a minicab to the Green Man roundabout in Leytonstone. During a mobile phone call, he admitted what he'd done, saying he'd better not go back to Leighton Station in the morning, but would probably get a taxi to Mile End. He also hinted at a good job in the West End. The victim is fortunately slowly recovering. 0500 600 600 or the British Transport Police on 0171 387 0354. That's 0171 387 0354.
If you ever come across Flight Lieutenant David John Cox, you'd better give us a call, because he's nothing but a fraud. He was never an officer and was discharged from the RAF in the 1960s after only 5 weeks, and he certainly never reached the dizzy heights of Flight Lieutenant. Police all over the country have been looking for him, as he's left an enormous amount of loss and grief in his wake. There's a warrant out for his arrest on 5 charges of blackmail. He's 50, tall at 6'2", thick-set with blue eyes and greying dark brown hair. He has a noticeable Lancashire accent, and his wife is rather distinctive too. She's in her mid-30s and suffers from a condition in which her head leans to one side. They're believed to have a red Opel Kadett with the unusual registration number MIJ83. And now, only 9 days ago, the pair were turned away from a guest house near Durham. Perhaps they're with you tonight. Keep your eyes out for Flight Lieutenant Cox, or whatever he's calling himself, and 0500 600 600, or you can call the local police on 01795 584 111. That's Sheerness, 584 111.
Now, an odd crime, not just that it's unusual, it's a weird thing to do anyway. The serious thing about it is that the offender is getting worse, more active and more violent. It's a cluster of attacks that took place in northwest London and reached their peak around December and early January.
Can you tell me the way to Wembley, please?
Yeah, you need Kenton Road Tube. So you go straight up Briar Road, turn left, up the hill to Kenton Station, and then Wembley's just a couple of stops.
Thank you very much.
Stop! Stop! Stop!
2 days later, and 500 yards away,
a man grabbed hold around my neck. I was struggling and I was screaming, but he was too powerful and he pulled me out and he threw me to one side.
It's gone. I was attacked. This man that just came out of the bushes. My handbag was in the car.
Come inside then. We'll sort it out inside.
the car he'd taken was a white Volkswagen Jetta. Do you know anyone who suddenly acquired a motor like this for a couple of days in mid-December? The next night, Sunday evening, he turned up in nearby Southall.
My immediate reaction was just to try and get away from him. I was just really scared that he was going to jump into the car.
In her panic to escape, she crashed. Meanwhile, the stranger, having grabbed her handbag, leapt into his own car and drove off.
I was just very frightened for both my safety, but mainly for my unborn child. I was only about 10 weeks pregnant.
The man plainly knows the district, Harrow, Wembley and Southall, including the back streets. An hour later, that same Sunday night, and about 15 minutes away, is Church Lane in Kingsbury, and a minicab driver was searching for a fare. Having gone off with the cabbie's Volvo estate, the thief left behind the now battered, stolen Jetta. It had obviously been involved in a heavy collision front and back. It was almost a write-off from the damage to the front. Who or what had he hit? 20 minutes later, and about 2 miles away, there was a third attack that night, this time in Windermere Avenue in Wembley. He made off with another handbag after wresting it from a mother, as her young children looked on. A month later, he surfaced again in Croxley Green near Watford. This was out of his usual patch, and much earlier in the day than before. Around 5 p.m, this man was caught on CCTV at Croxley Green Station. Who was he? Is it coincidence the attacks are all close to the Metropolitan Line tube?
I was going over for a meal, so I left home. When I got in the car, I just had a couple of diaries and a box of chocolates on the seat and my handbag, and I thought, no, I must put my handbag under my seat, so I did. Looking forward to going to see the family.
Hey! Drive.
No!
Drive!
No! Ow! Help me, someone, please, help me! What's happening? He's taken
wrecking my car.
Oh, what do you want to die?
Get help, please, get help.
How'd you get this in gear?
I wasn't going to tell him. I knew I wasn't going to tell him how to start it. I hoped he'd just go away.
How'd you get it started?
Go away. Can't you see what a state she's in? Go away.
I've always brought up right and wrong, and I've always tried to recognise both. And I can't understand sometimes how people can't see that things are wrong.
On this attack in January, he had a moustache and a goatee beard. He's in his 20s or early 30s, light-skinned Afro-Caribbean, around 6 foot tall. If you've any suspicions, or if you know anybody like him, if you think you've encountered him, or if you know anyone who acquired a Jetta, a Volvo or BMW earlier this year, call us on 0500 600 600 or the incident room on 0181 733 3121. That's 0181 733 3121.
3 months ago, credit cards were stolen from British Steel offices in Rotherham, South Yorkshire, and just 12 minutes later, they were used in Rotherham town centre. Then, in quick succession, in Worksop and then in Mansfield. Here's the man we're looking for, trying hard to look like an honest businessman. He's around in his mid-20s, around 5'10", slim. The free call number here is 0500 600 600, or you can ring the incident room on 01709 832 757. That's Rotherham, 832 757.
Well, following up with what Nick said earlier about the Brixton calls, several calls on that, some very good ones. Some people were seen on a roof in Brixton on the day with binoculars, but obviously we don't know whether they were connected or not. Many calls giving us details about where the nails can be bought, centering on pound shops, so we don't really want any more calls on that. On the murder of a Swedish tourist, well, we had one person on the bus has come forward, also a lady who claims to have been assaulted on the same bus route, but we haven't had a call yet from that crucial black cab driver. David, over to you on your
Yes,
cases.
on that B&Q knife robbery, Jill, we've had a handful of calls, but some very good quality. 3 names have been suggested. 2 of them allegedly have links to that jacket that we showed, and are believed to have owned jackets like that, and also another call has given a possible source for the jacket. And then we've had a couple of good calls too on that HMV credit card fraudster, possible other offence, and also an officer who's called in thinks he knows who it is. So that one's very promising.
And many names as well given on those Southampton serial rapes, and 2 girls believe that they may have been victims of the same man. So your calls really do count as a result, and a Crimewatch file shows that next week. Wanted explores the investigation which caught the man responsible for a series of attacks on old people in South Wales. His violence led to the death of 90-year-old Enid Poole.
I was actually a custody sergeant in the police station when Salter was arrested 2 or 3 years previously.
You fat English bastard!
Yeah, he was drunk, acting suspiciously round that old folks' complex.
He'd obviously previously been doing something of a similar nature in Worcester years before, but obviously not to the violent degree that he'd been doing it in South Wales.
Find out more on Crimewatch File next Wednesday, the 28th of April at 10:15 on BBC One.
Now, 8 years ago on Crimewatch, we showed a couple who were wanted in a fraud inquiry. A viewer's call led to a flat in Birmingham where these photographs were discovered, along with tickets for Concorde and the QE2. This is Stephen Lowe as he looked in the early 90s, and this is his boyfriend, Wayne Cope. Since then, there's been a whole string of incidents which make us, and many ruined individuals, very keen to see Messrs Lowe and Cope again. Stephen Lowe, if he's still calling himself that, is 46, and he may have aged a bit. He's 5'10", with short, dark brown hair, and he usually wears glasses. Wayne Cope is 35. He too may look older and also uses different names. He's smaller at 5'6", slim, and has short, wavy brown hair. If you've any idea where either of these two are, give us a call on 0500 600 600 or 01234 275 328. That's Bedford, 275 328.
A quick reminder of the faces we've shown you so far tonight. The man who carried out a terrifying robbery in Waterloo in London. Mohammed Shabir, who's wanted in connection with the rape of a 15-year-old girl in Lancashire. Gary Warner, police want to question him about a series of burglaries. And this man wanted for robbery. There's a reward of £5,000 if you can help convict him. If you've information on any of these or any other cases we've shown tonight, call us now.
We've been very busy, so if you can't get through, don't worry, we'll be here until midnight. 0500 600 600. Other numbers on CFAX, page 621. You can email us at Crimewatch UK at the BBC, and on any case, call Crime Stoppers anonymously if you want on 0800 555 111. If you've been a victim and you'd like to talk to someone at Victim Support, there'll be people there until 2 in the morning, and the number is 0845 30 30 900.
Join us for the update, about half an hour now, 11:30. If you can't stay up till then, next month's Crime Watch is on Tuesday, the 18th of May. And with all the help that's coming in tonight, and there is a lot of it, and of course with crime on the decline, don't have nightmares, please. Sleep well. Night-night.
Night.